Hello and welcome to the fourth and last episode of my little Advent series. The fourth episode, that means it's the fourth Advent. We are close to Christmas, and fair enough. The topic on this Sunday is in Christian church has already to do with the birth of Jesus Christ. To be precise, it's about his mother Mary. Here we will meet some parallels with Buddhism, as well as some interpretations in the light of Buddhism and some controversies within the Christian church. Again, so we will touch some fascinating items. So stay tuned, we will start in 50 seconds. Just one word before we start. In case you like the content of my YouTube channel and appreciate my Dharma work, please subscribe to my channel to support me and my work. Also, as I am not resident at Shaolin Temple Europe and have to completely earn my living on my own, it would be enormously helpful to receive the one or the other donation in my virtual dāna-box. Each cent of dāna will help me to continue giving all my time and energy into the spreading of the Dharma and the well-being of all sentient beings. The link to the dāna-box you will find in the video description. Thank you so much. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay. 3 topics we have dealt with on the last 3 Advent Sundays. First, there was the biblical apocalypse interpreted in a Buddhist light as the end of the world, in the sense of the end of samsara, the worldly world, with its greed, jealousy, hate and delusion. So we see in the apocalypse, or we see the apocalypse as an internal experience based on vipassana insight rather than a devastating event. On the second Sunday we dealt with Christian baptism, to be understood as a symbol for calm introspection, serenity, contemplation, these being the prerequisites for vipassana practice in Buddhism. We said that John the Baptist was warning the people against being thrown into the fire like a tree that doesn't bring any fruit. He advised them to turn away from all worldly desire to calm and introspection, initiated and symbolized by his act of baptism. On the third Sunday, last Sunday, we saw Jesus Christ entering the stage, who got baptized by John, excuse me, and then became kind of his successor. But Jesus brought a new wind into the affair. He stopped threatening and warning the people, stopped frightening them. Instead of using dark or black psychology, as it is called today, he encountered them with compassion, forgiveness, positive motivation and unconditional love. This corresponds to what is called metta in Buddhist tradition, loving kindness. Today we'll have a look at Jesus' mother Mary. Who was she? What was she? Very much is not known about her. Nazareth, Jesus' place of birth and the place where Mary was living, was, according to archaeological findings, a very poor village of perhaps 500 inhabitants. And it seems Mary was just an uninformed woman, which, a part of giving birth to Jesus, doesn't play a major role in history. That's the impression we have, at least. But there are other theories that, especially in the light of Buddhism, let us doubt about that. Nazareth was just round the corner from Qumran, the place with well-known Qumran scrolls were found a couple of decades ago. Scriptures that give us information about the time of Jesus, but are to the largest part still under the lock and key in the Vatican. Shame be on him who thinks evil of that. But here too a religious group resided, the Essenes. A third religious community besides the Pharisees and the Sadducees. They opposed dogmatism and luxury. The teachings are interwoven with elements of the ancient Egyptian mystical school in which Moses was most likely educated. Justice, community of goods, love and purity of body and food are values that determine the community life of the Essenes on the outside. And according to some experts, typical elements of Essene thought can be found in Jesus' Sermon on the Mount and other speeches. Let's come back to the Qumran scrolls for a moment. They talk about meditation, Mother Nature, healing, nutrition, love as the only weapon, of mastery and responsibility for one's own thoughts and emotions. And all this is clearly reminiscent of the teaching that goes back to Moses, but also to Zarathustra, Lao Tzu, and the Buddha. The basic Essenian idea that one can overcome evil and ill will by loving kindness, also to be found in the verse 5 of the Dhammapada, has proven to be a powerful weapon in the world history. Just remember Gandhi. Jesus, in his example of turning the other cheek when slapped, in a sense established this moral principle. Jesus' extraordinary healing abilities may also have originated in his training with the Essenes. They were known for being for their healing art, and only passed on this knowledge to initiates. So far, so good. But what does Mary have to do with all that? According to the Bible and the Christian Church, nothing. She was a dumb young village girl, but some historians have a different view of that. They say Mary was initiated in the teachings of the Essenes, and so was a person of highest spiritual and bodily purity, completely filled with love and light. An immaculate soul. This is what is meant by Virgin Mary, a state rarely attained by human beings. But what is the meaning of immaculate? In Buddhism we find the word kilesa, a term that regularly is translated as defilement, but it would be just as correct to render it with maculation. In the Abhidhamma, 10 kinds of kilesas exist, namely greed, hate, delusion, conceit, wrong views, doubt, torpor, restlessness, shamelessness, recklessness. And these are the so-called 7 mortal sins in Christianity: arrogance, pride, vanity, avarice, greed, lust, debauchery, hedonism, covetousness, unchastity, anger, rage, vindictiveness, gluttony, intemperance, selfishness, envy and jealousy, laziness, cowardice, ignorance, weariness, sluggishness of the heart. And the Buddha's mother was said to having been without these kilesas. She was akilesa, and so was immaculate, just as Mary was. Interesting parallel, isn't it? The second interesting parallel between Jesus's and the Buddha's mother is their names. Jesus's mother, Mary, the Buddha's mother, Maya. These two names are of the same origin. But we have to be cautious, since Maya is regularly used in the sense of illusion or worldliness. But it can, amongst others, also have the meaning of female power of the god. In the Essenes concept, the name Mary stands for the power of the awakened will that wants to reveal the divinity hidden in the universe. A third, however somewhat speculative parallel, is that Mary had already been priestess of the Egyptian temple of Isis in a previous life. Unfortunately, I didn't find any proof for this statement. On the other hand, though, there is no proof for Buddha's mother to having lived some million years before the Buddha Gautama, and there offered a precious sandalwood to the Buddha at that time, called Vipassi, and made towards him the wish to become the mother of such a radiant Buddha like he was. and both conceived not in a normal way, but in case of Mary from the Holy Ghost, and in case of Maya in form of a white elephant entering her womb. So one thing seems to be clear: whether or not the one or the other thing is a pure metaphoric legend, both Mary and Maya were enormously virtuous, both were keeping their precepts, and both wanted to give something extraordinary to the world. Both had, be it only in a metaphoric sense, a virgin birth. Mary did not put herself in the foreground. She stayed quite consciously in the background, working in silence and making no mention of herself. And yet she gave birth to something very important. Maya, on the other side, died after the birth of the Buddha. And it can be supposed that she knew that she would, because this had been and is the fate of every woman giving birth to a Buddha according to Buddhist tradition. Okay, that's it for the 4th Advent 2022, dealing with the person of Mary, the mother of Jesus, and Maya, the mother of the Lord Buddha. I hope the information in this video were interesting and informative. All that remains for me to say at this point is have a fine, peaceful and happy 4th Advent, and stay safe, loving and mindful. Yours, Shimyoda. Ami Tuafo.